everyone, my name is Heather and this is my audience for tonight's speech. I'd like to start tonight's speech with a story about a woman named Joanne. The first morning Joanne woke up homeless. She was curled up in the corner of the bottom of the house that she had just been evicted from. She was scared, she was lonely, she didn't know where to go, what to do next. Her life had been spiraling out of control. She was paralyzed by the fear of what she could do and where she needed to go to get help. All she knew is that she needed help. Joanne is like 600,000 other Americans that exist across the country that are homeless. Many things bring them to this place, whether it's a loss of a job, an addiction to drugs or alcohol, or the desperate need to get out of a house where abuse is. All they want in the end is help and resources to be able to get past this homelessness and move on to something else. My hope is that after today's talk, that you'll find a desire in your heart to serve an organization that helps with the homeless in our community. No one would argue that homelessness is a problem across America, but very few get involved to help. In order to make an impact, we as a community need to get more involved. A couple years ago, I had an opportunity to work with an organization called Penn Ministries. Penn Ministries was started by a husband and wife, Dallas and Ann Stamper. They had a passion to serve the community. They started by wanting to take a few sandwiches down to the homeless at the ocean front. And they found quickly that one sandwich turned into 6 the next week, and then 12, and then 18, and so on and so forth. So over the years, they realized that their passion was to serve the community and that the homeless was where they're being called. So they formed in 2002 an organization called Penn Ministry. Penn stands for People in Need. And over these last 13 years, they have grown Penn Ministry into an amazing service for the homeless community. They provide many different services for the homeless. Their mission is, as a Christ-based nonprofit organization, is to just provide food and shelter and resources for the homeless to become personal and financially independent. They want to help them overcome the habits and the addictions that has helped draw them here, because over their years of serving the homeless, they've realized that many don't want to be in this predicament, but they've had no choice because of either addiction or abuse of some sort. So they wanted to be able to provide more than just food and homes for them. They needed to help them get past that and overcome these addictions. They value prayers and creative approaches for homelessness, and they value helping these homeless build a relationship with Christ, because they feel that once that happens, their relationship with Christ and their principles, their Christian principles, will get them past their dependencies and allow them to become independent individuals. Penn is focused now on 4 service pillars. One of their main focuses is providing food, and they do that on a regular basis throughout the week to the homeless community. They also now provide medical services, recovery services, housing services, and training services. They start with the medical services by providing first aid and preventative services that help the community take care of themselves. They provide dental care, and they also provide transportation to and from social services or a health clinic to get more assistance. Then they realized that recovery was the next area they really need to work with. So they partner with a group called Recovery for Life, and they come in and they help provide drug and alcohol, anger, and codependency services and groups for these folks to be able to get the help that they need. And many people that I met through my time serving with Penn were recovering from some sort of a dependency, and they began working for Penn in various different ways and volunteering their time to remind them of why and who they were and where they've come from. And so serving their own people is a way that they were able to give back for what Penn did for them. Housing and training are the next 2 areas that Penn has been focusing on the last couple of years, getting help. And it takes volunteers to put these types of programs together. So for housing, they have been working with the local community and the government on resources to provide those houses, helping them fill out forms and get through the bureaucracy that occurs for this. Training, they found out that in order to get a job, you need to know how to do something. So they have been working with locals and volunteers on training program and electrical work or typing skills or secretarial skills or those services that in order for a homeless person to have a job, they've been working on getting some training there for them on site. Penn is very dependent on volunteers. They can't do this without it. Their organization lives in the back of a church. They're very simple, simplistic organization, low overhead. They have done a really great job at trying not to build up their overhead to where it costs them more to do business than to actually serve the community. I've seen it. They have the oldest stoves I think exist to serve the food. They have, literally a back office that the medical care happens, and they've, done the best they can with what they have. They have a warehouse just down the street from their main place they serve for clothing. So every Sunday, the homeless can come through and pick a certain amount of items for clothing and personal hygiene. It takes volunteers to do all of that. So there's many ways to volunteer for Penn. The food serving, the personal hygiene or clothing happens on Sunday afternoons. They also have started a Thursday night small group where they have churches bring in the food to serve, and it also helps to take care of their recovery services night. That's a night that they usually do a small group. They have medical services. So Ann Stamper, one of the founding, the wife of Dallas, she was a nurse and still works as a nurse some of the time, but she brought in some of her friends to continue to provide nursing services, and she's also has physicians that come in, so it's another opportunity to volunteer. They have fundraising events throughout the year. They do a ping pong challenge and a golf challenge and some other things. They have a comedy night that they host to be able to raise funds for Penn. They always need help in the office. They have phones they have to answer. They have things they have to coordinate. They have a couple of folks that work directly with them, but it's very few. They really try to keep that to a minimum. And they can always use help with donations. Definitely money helps them survive. I thought it was amazing. Recently, I saw the one additional thing that they've added was showers. And as somebody in the community has built mobile showers and bathing facilities, so they drive up to the back of the church, and the people in need use that as they need, and they use those personal hygiene products to be able to do that. So today, as I sit here and I think about the weather that's outside, we have a hurricane that's passing by. I wonder how they're feeling, what they're doing. I know that there's a tent community down by the ocean front, and how if the wind is tearing it apart, wetting everything that they have. So I think, as we see this and deal with it, the winter's on its way. Helping and volunteering for an organization like Penn will truly change people's lives, one person at a time. I think it's our job to look at ways to serve, and this is an excellent way to do that. We're never going to eliminate homelessness, but we're definitely going to be able to help them in different ways. So I hope after this you'll possibly volunteer for Penn Ministries. Thank you.